Hey Casters, welcome to the first episode of the Catster Vet Q&A with myself and my YouTube co-pilot, Dr. Luqman. It's great to see you and I'm very excited to get the series going. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Isabel? And hello to all the Catster viewers out there. I'm very excited to be doing this, as is evident with my cat ears. Yeah, just really excited. How are you?
All aboard. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm, as I said, very excited. I think the series is going to be a great pathway between us and our fellow catsters. So yeah, it's great seeing you, and seeing that this is our first live recording, I thought maybe a quick introduction of who we are would be good. So I'm Isabel Ludick. I'm based in South Africa. I'm the marketing director here at Catster, and I also run the YouTube channel, as some of you may know. Yeah, I mean, I'm obsessed with cats. I've always been since I was born. I've just always been surrounded with cats. So it's given me lots of time to study their behavior and psychology and just get fully fledged obsessed with them. So yeah, I do actually have a degree in psychology, but I am a cat aficionado at heart. So yeah, I also have a cat. Her name's Millie. Some of you also may know her. She's my sassy little rescue cat, and she's also my entire life. So yeah, that's me. Over to you, Luqman.
Hi, okay. A bit about myself. I'm Dr. Luqman Javed. I'm currently based in Malaysia, although I was born and raised in the Middle East. I, as a child, wanted to be either someone who worked in a zoo, someone who works with animals, or an astronaut. So it was like a really weird mixture of things. But I've always been obsessed with animals ever since I was like a little kid. You know, animal magazines, animal books, animal anything. That was like my only obsession as a kid. It wasn't toys or anything like that. And when the opportunity presented itself, I initially did not go for it. My initial degree is actually in IT. So I was first working in an IT field. Worked in the IT field for a while, realized I didn't want to do it, realized that, you know, life's short. If you want to be a vet, just go for it. So I went for it. And here I am, yeah. I graduated with my vet degree in 2020 and eventually found myself on this YouTube channel with you guys. So very excited to be here. Love cats. I've had like 8 in my life. I don't have one right now, which is really strange because I'm usually always around pets and animals. But fingers crossed that I can get a pet this year. And I'll keep you guys updated on that one. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, yeah, I think I speak for all of us here at Catster that we are very happy that you landed here on our YouTube channel. It's been great having you, and yeah, super exciting content upcoming for this year. One of which, the Vet Q&A. So yeah, if you guys don't follow Catster's Instagram page, we asked you if you have any burning cat questions for us a while ago, and we are finally answering some of them today. So if you do have any, burning questions about cats, behavior, health, food, anything cat related, be sure to follow us on Instagram, and then you can ask your questions, and we will hopefully answer some of them here on the next episode. So yeah, let us get into some of the questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's go.
So the first question is from Nudist Prudence, and they're asking how to transition my cat from a normal litter box to a litter robot I just got, even if she's scared.
Okay. Well, first of all, love the username. Second of all, your cat is used to one kind of litter box, it might actually be very difficult to transition them to a different kind of litter box. Now, this is actually why the market is actually flooded with all kinds of litter boxes. So you have those that are just your standard shallow trays. You have those that are a bit higher. You have those that are covered, and then you have your robots. And then you also have litter boxes that seem to emulate furniture. So it looks like it's just a TV cabinet or a coffee table or something, but it's actually a litter box. Now, above all, you have to keep in mind that the reason there are so many types of litter boxes is because cats are very, very fastidious about their litter box habits. And some cats just have a preference for one type of litter box. Now, in terms of physiology, if we actually go a bit deeper into this, it's actually because the way cats are intrinsically, they are predators. Predators actually like take their time when it comes to their toilet habits. but usually prey animals do not. So predators are like very specific about where they want to urinate and defecate. They often try to cover it. They usually do it with a purpose, like before a hunt or after a meal. Whereas prey animals, they're pretty much like, okay, it's go time anywhere. Because like you never know when you're running from something for your life, like literally, and you have to go.
Gotta
So
be
my
ready
advice,
whenever.
exactly. So my advice would actually be, if your cat is very hesitant on using a litter box robot, you can either try training litter. Now, this is litter actually which has some attractants for cats inside it that might help your cat get used to it. But my honest advice would be to don't force it unless you absolutely have to, or keep your cat's old litter box next to the robot. And once in a while, after your cat eats and your cat is going towards the litter box, pick them up and put them in the robot and just see what they do. And if they stay in there and if they use the litter box, it's a very good idea to like shower them with praise, perhaps give them a treat. So they kind of get it associated with something positive and normal and natural. But then again, there's no saying how long your cat will take. And depending on the extent of the fear, I actually wouldn't force your cat to use it, because what might happen is your cat would start holding in their urine and their feces. They like won't use the litter box at all, which can lead to like more problems down the line. So yeah, if your cat seems open to the idea, you can use attractant litters, or you can try to train them slowly by getting them used to the litter. But if they are hesitant, I would actually drop the idea and just let them use their usual litter box. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cats in general aren't very accustomed to new, scary sound emanating things. So it's gonna take time for them to get used to it. But if they don't, it may just not be for them. Not everyone likes to do their business in a robot, I guess. But yeah, thanks for that, Luqman. I think we definitely got to the bottom of that question. And if you have any more questions about cat litter boxes, cat litter robots, anything like that, please drop them in the comments below. Yeah.
Also, you could try just like leaving the litter box off and just put it somewhere, and don't draw attention towards it. And there's a small chance that your cat, being curious, will just go and inspect it on their own. And if they can inspect it and use it while it's off, then you could perhaps try turning it on one day and see if they freak out or not. That's also another possible way to get them used to it. But again, it comes down to your cat's personality. Some of them are just like, oh, no. And some of them are like, oh, what is this? They might like check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, next question is from Kayla Zank. I'm sorry if I'm butchering anyone's usernames. I apologize. Kayla Zank, I believe, is wet food truly better than dry food?
Ooh, okay, Kayla, very nice question. Thank you, by the way. Okay, this is actually a very, very, very complex topic. It's something you could like talk about for hours, actually. Is wet food truly better than dry food? I think if you ask any vet, they will have their own opinion on this. Some vets are very neutral. They say there's really no difference. Some vets do have a preference. Now, this preference is probably based on cases they've seen. And some of these cases might be linked to the cat's nutritional histories. And over time, they tend to have a bias or a preference. And some vets are they prefer a mixture of the two kinds of foods. And some just are like, no, cats should be absolutely only on wet food or only on homemade diets, etc. So this is actually a very lovely topic. I'd love to touch base on this in a much longer video in the future, because I could, not to say ramble about this for 20-30 minutes. But yeah, thank you so much for this question. Actually, the long and short is probably yes. I would leave it at that. And then I would leave it at that cliffhanger and explain why in a longer video. So yeah, my tentative answer for you is probably yes. Yeah.
Oh, love a good cliffhanger. Subscribe to find out the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This is from Guardian Angels 1967. How many cat litter should you have for one cat? So we're unsure if this person means the quantity of cat litter that needs to be in the litter box, or how
Right.
many cat litter boxes should you have for one cat. So I think if you can just touch upon both topics, that would be the best.
Oh, okay, sure. So in terms of litter boxes, the general rule is the litter boxes in your house should be equal to the number of cats you have plus one. So if you have one cat, you need 2 litter boxes. 2 cats, you need 3. 5 cats, you need 6, etc. So that's how many litter boxes you need in your house. Now, in terms of how much litter, like the depth of the litter, the recommendation is actually 2 to 3 inches. Now, the reason we say 2 to 3 inches is because this gives you enough depth to where your cat will be able to dig and not hit the bottom of the litter box, which you don't always want because many litter boxes are made of plastic, and plastic can actually retain odors. So actually, you do not want your cat, urinating or defecating on the plastic component of your box. Another reason why we recommend 2 to 3 inches is if you're using like a litter deodorizer on the bottom of your litter, it would actually not be very effective if the litter itself is too thick. So you would want to stop at 2 to 3 inches. And the third reason is actually for economics. So 2 to 3 inches is good enough for the cat to do what they need to do, while also making sure you're not wasting excess litter. So this saves on costs. It's also more environmentally friendly. So yeah, 2 to 3 litters is a recommendation in terms of depth. And in terms of litter boxes, you want to go for your number of cats plus 1. So for 1 cat, you need 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good, easy recipe to follow. Okay, next question is from the Endless Honeymooners. They're asking, why does my cat meow like a siren at 4 a.m. for food as if he is starving to death, even though he never gets fed until 7 a.m.? I mean, Millie does this every morning, so I'm down to find out.
Okay. First of all, another good username. I need to probably change my username because my usernames are like so basic. Anyway, if your cat is meowing like a siren at 4 a.m., I love the description, by the way. Okay, so there are several reasons why this might be happening. First of all, if your cat is intact, that means it's either a male or a female that hasn't been spayed for a female or castrated for a male. We also sometimes call this as neutering. But I mean, in a strict sense, neuter is not like sex specific, but most people associate neutering with males, spaying with females. In any event, if they are intact and at 4 a.m., they are having, let's say, romantic intentions, they may start meowing. So what a female will do when she's in heat is she will yowl, which is a very loud, incessant, like almost repetitive meow that seems kind of like it's almost on autopilot, like she's doing it all the time. And she actually does this to attract males to her area. And if a male actually senses that there's a female nearby in heat, he may start vocalizing because he wants to communicate with her and find her. So he's actually calling back. And he will also be doing this in order to escape and try to mate with her. The timing is very interesting because usually animals in the wild around dawn and dusk, so 4 a.m. means it's approaching dusk hours, they often vocalize a lot, predators. They actually use this time to vocalize because their meows or their calls or whatever, like a roar or something, can be carried for far greater distances when the air is, the way it is just before dusk. So for many animals, it's almost like an internal clock. It's like, oh, this is the best time to call out. Honeymooners, maybe the cat's also looking for a honeymoon. Now, if the cat is actually already, fixed, so that means they are spayed or castrated, neutered, then what might be happening is, again, a few things. First of all, your cat might actually be hungry. Now, this depends on how much you're actually feeding them before you go to bed. So if your cat is not being fed enough, if they get hungry, they will probably meow because they want something from you. A second thing is your cat might be trying to train you. Now, if there's ever an incident where your cat was meowing at 4 a.m. and it actually worked in the sense that it ruined your sleep, you got up and you're like, what do you want? Or you got up to look at your cat and you were reassuring them, or anything you did, basically, if they got a response from you, they can learn that, oh, if I meow at this time, chances are they will wake up, and chances are they will, tend to my needs. So if that happened a few times, a cat can quickly learn that, oh, maybe I should do it. And then the funny thing is, once it happens a few times, like if it happens once or twice, and the third time, if you try to ignore it, your cat might be like, okay, maybe I need to meow louder or longer or more
Of
often. So they're
course.
like, let's go, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. But essentially, this is like your cat is trying to train you.
Oh,
Or, like I said, your cat might actually be legitimately hungry if they're not being fed enough. Or again, it might be hormonal if their cat is intact and, it's their mating urge. So it's usually one of these three. It can also be like cats that are overly attached to you. If they just want to play or something, they just decide that they're bored at 4 a.m. and they have no toys and they feel like you've been asleep long enough. They're like, okay, let me just, release my call of the wild and see what happens. So it can be several things actually, but the one thing I would recommend is if this is new or random, it's suddenly starting to happen, it's not like a historical incident with your cat, you might want to get them checked by the vet because it could also be due to a health issue. Um, and the most important or the most concerning one, if it happens out of the blue, is a cat that's getting older, entering their senior years. So we're looking at a cat that is 11 or about to turn 11, 10, 11, up to 15 years old. They can sometimes have the cat version of dementia. So sometimes they forget. So maybe they're not like, they're having a difficult time remembering when they're supposed to be fed. And now they think it's at 4:30 rather than 7:30. So yeah, if this is just like a random thing that's starting to happen out of the blue, I would definitely recommend a vet visit. But
yeah.
other than that, it is probably a behavior thing. Yeah.
Okay, that's super interesting. I'll definitely need to have a talk with Mali. Consider endless honeymooners, consider yourself trained by your cat. Okay,
Exactly.
and also Luqman is actually busy with a senior cat care series as we speak. We posted the first video, so definitely if you have a senior cat, go check that out so we can learn all about their care because they are special and they deserve it.
Absolutely. I love senior cats, by the way. As patients, love them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so. I mean, cats in general are super chilled. That's why I love them as well. But senior cats are even more chilled. So it's like a double chill. Okay. Next question is from Sherry G. Blue. And they're asking I have an older male tabby, 17 years old, on the same subject. After he's fed in the morning, he goes to the bedroom and starts meowing. He also meows during the night. Is this dementia? Good question.
Excellent question. And yes, it actually might be dementia. So a very good catch on your part. By the way, 17 years old is considered geriatric. So we usually call senior cats from 11 to 15 is when we say they're seniors. Beyond 15, we consider them geriatric patients. And feline dementia is one of the most common ailments that can affect seniors or geriatrics. And this is a very good sign that something might be off with your cat's mental capabilities. So stuff like randomly meowing or change in habits or like unexplained behavioral changes are actually a sign of, that your cat might potentially have feline dementia. It can also be other things, but in order to find out whether it's other things, you have to first rule out the medical issues. So anytime your cat is acting strange, a very good thing to do is recognize that anytime a cat acts, weirdly or differently or strangely, it's either a medical reason or it's a behavior reason. Now, we can't tell which is which unless we rule out the medical issues. So anytime your cat starts acting out, the first thing you can do, which is a very foolproof method, is to just get them to a vet and have them looked over because cats love hiding their illnesses. So if there's no medical issue, then you can start dealing with possible behavioral issues. And sometimes it can actually be both, which is super fun to deal with. But point being, yeah, if your cat is a senior or a geriatric and they're acting different or not acting like themselves, or, as this reader said, they're randomly meowing after they eat, they just go in the room, they're just staring into space almost and just meowing for no reason, yes, that might be a sign of feline dementia. Other signs I would actually keep an eye out for is head pressing. So if they press their
Yeah.
head against the wall for no reason. I've seen this on social media where people think it's very cute and they almost like to think it's like cat is fed up. Ooh, no, that is actually a sign that they probably have a neurological issue. Or if your cat is randomly spinning in circles, almost obsessively or compulsively with no reason, like just like clockwise or counterclockwise, and like just like spinning with like without thought, reason or rhyme. Yes, you should
Yeah.
definitely have them go to a vet. And for seniors in particular, if they are starting to miss the litter box, that is a very good sign that something might be off, either in terms of behavior or in terms of medical issue. So yeah, I would definitely say that they are absolutely right. This might definitely be feline dementia. It's not 100% guaranteed that it's feline dementia, but it might be. And so yes, I would recommend a veterinary checkup. And also, I would say, congratulations, by the way, on getting your cat to 17 years old. Many pet owners, I feel like, who have senior pets and geriatric pets often forget to congratulate themselves. That's not easy. So I've seen cats that come in that are, I've personally seen patients that are 22, 23 years old. And the first thing I always do is congratulate the owner, because that is not an easy feat. So if you're out there and you have a senior cat or a geriatric cat, I would, like, at some time of the day, pause and tap yourself on the back, because you deserve it. So it's not easy, getting a cat this far. So first things first, congratulate yourself. Don't panic. It might be something, it might not be something, and just follow your vet's lead on it. So it's important to keep in mind that you have done something right. So you shouldn't beat yourself up if you see, health issues or behavior changes in a senior or geriatric cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I couldn't agree more. I mean, getting cats to that age definitely is a big
Yeah,
achievement. So
exactly. It
congrats.
is. And people should be very proud of themselves. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Kate Mazzy. How can I get my cat to stop love biting? He loves to bite and it hurts.
Oh, okay. First of all, I love this question. Um, this is something that many people inadvertently reinforce with kittens. So when they're playing with kittens, they use their hands, and they
Yeah.
like to, rub the kitten's belly or tummy. And the kitten usually starts like, attacking the hand. They'll do like these cute little kitten bunny kicks, and then they will bite their hand.
Mhm.
Now, if it's just a kitten, most people find this adorable and it's not as painful. But if it's an adult cat, it can definitely hurt. And even like if an adult cat's like, claws are trimmed, they can easily still scratch you hard enough or bite you to the point where it really hurts. So as a kitten, this is actually considered adorable. Now, as an adult cat, this is considered painful. And the way to do this is to play with your cat using something that you hold in your hand, and having your cat interact with whatever it is you're holding. And this is very important to do from kittenhood. Now, if you've just adopted an adult cat that does this all the time, it may take them, a few, what do you call, weeks to possibly, I want to say, a month or more to get used to not biting you. You can try to say a very stern no whenever they do it, but usually when cats are love biting you, they're in like a hunter state of mind. So they're actually like, all their senses are somewhat heightened. So they may actually be less receptive to like training or commands when they're, in the zone, basically. And if it is an adult cat that you've adopted that repeatedly does this, the best thing you could do is seek advice from a cat trainer or a cat behavior specialist. But if it's a kitten, yeah, I would definitely recommend holding something while you play with the kitten so that they attack that and not you. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, because I mean, if a cat or if a kitten first, realizes that the hands are there to be played with, then it's going to be very hard to actually convince them otherwise. So here we have a question from Reads with Cats. How do we convince long-time outdoor cat owners to keep their cats inside when it's a tradition and the cat gets restless and hissy inside?
Oh, okay. This is actually another thing that could be a very long topic on its own. It's a wonderful question, actually. It's actually one of the, I think, main questions that cat owners and cat lovers all over the world will probably start focusing more on. So if I do have time in the future, I would love to make a much longer explanation for this. But in a short answer, here's what I would say. They are not wrong in assuming that the cat gets agitated or irritated when they're kept indoors if the cat is used to being outdoors. So this is actually one of the dilemmas with adopting adult cats that are feral or strays, is many people think that they're actually, prone to stress if they're suddenly indoors all the time.
Yeah.
So the key here is recognizing that if your cat roams unsupervised, it is dangerous for both the environment and your cat. So it is dangerous for the environment in the sense that, like in 90% of the places where cats are found today, they are, brought there by humans. They're not originally from there. So if your cat goes outside and hunts anything like birds, lizards, any rodents, mice, squirrels, etc., they're actually contributing to, destabilizing your local ecosystem. So that is considered, not productive for the ecosystem. At the same time, if your cat is roaming unsupervised, they are in danger. So they could end up lost, they could end up displaced, they may have a fight with another cat and get injured, they may be attacked by larger cats, or in some cases, predators that can actually more than put up a fight, and they might see your cat as food. They can get hit by, vehicles, etc. Or even if none of this happens, like there's no physical, anomaly that's going on when your cat is outside, they're subjected to the elements of weather. So they may get caught in rain, hail, etc. They are more exposed to harsh sunlight, which can, lead to an increased incidence of some cancers in cats as well. And they may also pick up diseases from other animals or from the environment. So they don't necessarily have to interact with another animal to end up in trouble. So at the same time, it is important to realize that keeping them indoors might not be, something that they're used to. And yes, if you do it suddenly, they will definitely feel the strain and the stress. My advice would be, if you can leash train your cat, that's the best option, because that lets you walk your cat outside, but saves your environment and saves your cat from trouble as well. And it helps reinforce your bond with them because it's something you can do together. And if your cat is very stubborn with a leash, you can try to have an enclosed space for your cat. People like to call these catios. So it's like an enclosed safe space where your cat is safe from predators or dangers. At the same time, the prey out there is safe from your cat. So this way your cat still gets, to go outdoors while being protected. So this is definitely something I would love to talk more about if the opportunity presents itself. But those are the two main avenues of solutions that I think are like the most practical. And this is something that takes time, especially with cats that are used to being outside all the time. It definitely takes time, but it's definitely worth doing, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Okay, so we are moving on to the next question, and this is from Jamie Loves Gas, I think. Why is my cat unable to meow? When she occasionally tries to meow, it's mostly a silent squeak, comparable to a human with a lost voice.
Okay. First of all, the username is very interesting. I love these usernames, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
If your cat is unable to meow, there are several reasons. Now, if your cat has temporarily lost the ability to meow, they might actually be dealing with an infection or an ailment involving the upper respiratory system. So similar to us, when we have a cold or flu, some people lose their voice. If we have an extreme sore throat, you can lose your voice. So in that case, if something similar is going on with your cat, yes, they will lose their ability to meow temporarily. However, they will gain it back once whatever it is that's bothering them is taken care of, and they feel better. So that's one possibility here. A second possibility, which is highly unlikely, but it's worth investigating, especially if this is a cat whose medical history you don't know, is to find out if your cat had their vocal cords removed by surgery. Now, this is not a common procedure, but it is a procedure in medical literature. It has been done in some cats in the past. It's no longer really practiced. It is a very similar procedure to how people like to debark some dogs, which is, again, a procedure that's largely fallen out of practice. But if you don't know your cat's medical history, you would want to investigate. And this might be a very small possibility that this is what's actually happened. Or the third thing is, it's just your cat's personality, like how some people or some kids are very quiet, very shy, and to themselves, and they only make like very soft noises, or they're very soft spoken. Some cats are very quiet and shy and very soft spoken. So there's nothing really to worry about there. And in fact, I do think there would be some pet owners who would be jealous of you because your cat is so nice and quiet. And they would love, if their cat would be nice and quiet sometimes. So, it's like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So some people love it, and some people find it concerning. But as long as it's not a medical issue, there's really nothing to worry about with your cat. Your cat is likely fine. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely better a soft squeaky meow than a meow that echoes through the house. But yeah, I see I'm lagging again. So apologies for my frozen lagging situation going on. Let me just turn this off again. Okay, so the next question is from Siada. One of my cats never takes treats from my hand, not even lick a churu. I have to put it on a saucer.
Okay. Again, a very interesting conundrum to find yourself in. And again, I would say that your cat is probably extremely skittish, so they're not used to your hand being the source of treats or food. It is once again very important to check back on your cat's history. So most kittens have what we call like a period of socialization, or a period of influence from the time they're about 3 weeks old to the time where they're about 9 weeks old. Now, in this window, they are highly impressionable to any kind of socialization or interaction. So they can get easily accustomed to humans, other cats, their environment, their house, etc. And this is the best time to kind of train them to have nice habits as adult cats. Now, if they had limited, interactions with people, when they were that age, they may sometimes just be very skittish and shy and hesitant to take a treat from your hand. At other times, though, it may just be their preference. So some cats just don't like eating treats from your hand. It's very similar to how some people don't like eating rice with a spoon. They prefer a fork or chopsticks or something like that. And in some parts of the world, they are like, if you don't eat rice with your hands, you're doing it wrong. So it's like, it's just their way, and they're set in their ways, and you can't really convince them otherwise. So it might, also be just your cat's personality, or it might have to do with the way they were trained when they were younger. But generally speaking, if your cat eventually does eat the treat, I wouldn't actually recommend churros for cats, by the way. I would recommend, treats made for cats, perhaps. But point being, if your cat eventually does eat their food and their treats, etc., unless it is affecting you, there's really nothing to worry about. And do remember that if you try to force things onto your cat, that's usually going to end up, with more problems than trying to get your cat to do things on their terms. So yeah, I wouldn't actually force it if I were you, but I would look into their history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I think the treat that they're referring to is that little sachet long. It is a cat treat.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get it now. Oh, my bad then. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I thought they meant like some kind of like human treat or something. So I was like, what are they trying to feed them? Yeah, but okay, if it's a cat
It does sound like a churro, like the
yeah,
pastry type of thing. Yeah, I was
exactly. That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, some cats, just as humans, have a personal preference. I think we tend to forget that animals also can have similar types of human situations, like, feeling subjectively about something in a way. I think cats are definitely the same in that manner. Yeah, and I mean, don't force anything. If your cat doesn't want to eat out of your hand, it's just, you have to respect that. Okay, these last two questions are really good questions, but they might be better suited for a individual long form video, just because there's so much to discuss, and there isn't really enough information in the question to really pinpoint what we need to touch on. So I think we can maybe just go into it briefly, and then we'll definitely make some long form videos. So make sure to subscribe to check when we post that. So the first question is from Sue Klinker. My cat is very fearful. What can I do to help her?
Oh, lovely question. And very sorry to hear about your cat, by the way. But yeah, this is definitely a very, very long topic. It essentially comes down to finding out the cause of your cat's fear. Going back to one of the earlier questions, again, you have to ascertain whether it's medical or whether it's just behavior. And many things can scare cats. But I love this question. I'm very sorry you're experiencing this with your cat, by the way. But this is definitely something I'd love to touch base on a longer video. So yeah, do stay tuned, and we can definitely cover this in detail someday.
I'll make a note for you so we can remember this.
Thank you.
Why are cats fearful?
I have my golden pen.
And then the next question is from Shell 9380. What ingredients should and shouldn't be in cat food? That is an excellent question.
Oh, fantastic question. I'm not sure if they're talking about commercial cat food, as in the question is, when you go to a pet shop or any pet store or the vet's clinic or something, and you pick up a bag of food or a can of food or something, what should be in the food? I don't know if the question's coming from there, or if the question is they're trying to make food for their cat, and they're not sure what should be inside that, whatever it is they're making for their cat, as in what are toxic foods that you should absolutely not give your cat. For example, coffee, chocolates. Most cats are also lactose intolerant, so try to avoid milk and dairy. You have alcohol, for example, avocados, garlic, onions, and all that. So I don't know if they're coming from that angle, or if they're coming from a point of view of how to examine a pet label. But either case, lovely topics, and yeah, definitely love to touch base on these in more detail in the future. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question. I mean, I think I speak for all cat owners when I say cat food labels can be very difficult to understand and to read and to know what's what. So that's definitely a very good topic for an individual video, and we will definitely get to that soon. So
may I add, may I add, pretty soon, I'm also toying with the ideas of bringing homemade recipes for you guys. So I do realize that a lot of pet owners these days are keen on trying homemade recipes for their cats, but they're unsure on where to start, as in they're not sure if whatever it is they're feeding their cat is nutritionally complete and balanced and a substitute for cat food. So I want to say soon on our YouTube channel and across our social media platforms, we will be starting a recipe series where we make homemade meals for cats that are complete and balanced. And we'll probably have to get them QC checked by Millie or another one of our beloved cats. But yeah, do stay tuned for that as well, if that's something that interests you. Yeah.
Oh, that is so exciting. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really interesting, and Millie will be absolutely thrilled if she can just sit and eat all day. It's basically what she does anyway, so I mean, she was made for it. Awesome. So yeah, my camera is not working anymore, so
okay. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in for our first episode like this. We really love doing this. We loved hearing all your questions. It was really exciting for me to talk about some of these interesting topics that have come through. And Isabel and I will catch you on the next one. Until then, this is your friendly reminder to please do hit that subscribe button. Please do leave us a like. And of course, we welcome comments and questions if you have questions for the next series that we do. And Isabel's camera is unfortunately not working. So this is me, Dr. Luqman, wishing you all a very lovely week ahead. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next week.